Hi, my name is Edwin Portillo, and today I am. Bilingual education has been present in the United States for a significant amount of time. However, this does not prevent people from having some adverse reaction to the idea of immigrants maintaining their native language. There are some attitudes and beliefs that still persist in the population about the idea of leaving behind your culture, language, and traditions in order to become fully immersed in the American culture. Through this study, I want to explore how factors such as leadership attitude, consistency, and fidelity of the program, and parental involvement and school culture could affect the effectiveness of the dual language program. For this study, I got my ideas from my own experience working as a teacher, as a dual language teacher at Daniel Webster Elementary. Daniel Webster is a school located in Dallas, ISD, in the area of South Oak Cliff. Daniel Webster has a population of 634 students, and about 51% of that school population come from are from Hispanic background, has a Hispanic background. 47% are African Americans, 1% are white, and 1% had others origins. 35% of the school population is labeled as a limited English proficient, and um, we have the dual language programs in this school. Dual language program, one way the school had adopted the model, the Gomez and Gomez, and basically we have two teachers per grade level, two dual language teacher per grade level, in order to address the needs of the limited English proficient students or LEP students. The as we said, the program adopted by the school is the one way into a language program, or the Gomez and Gomez model. Through this program, we teach reading and writing in Spanish from pre-K through second grade, and 50% in Spanish and 50% in English from third grade to fifth grade. Additionally, math instruction is delivered in English, and science and social studies is delivered in Spanish. Through this research, I want to address the issues that I have seen happening in many dual language programs, but specifically, I have experience with my fifth grader students. Although there are many factors that could affect the success for the students in the dual language program, this research focuses on parental involvement in school culture, consistency and fidelity to the program, and the leadership attitudes. And I think I would like to explore how these leadership attitudes to the dual language program could affect the parent involvement in the consistency and fidelity of the dual language program. The research and issues in this paper are guided by several education theories like Howard and Christian. Howard and Christian, for example, talk about how the dual language programs are becoming successful across the United States, and how language programs have become a way to provide a student from different backgrounds opportunities to learn a second language. Um, Also, Collier and Timmons described dual language program as one of the best programs to provide English language learners, students with academic success, and they describe dual language as the only program that fully closes the achievement gap among ELL students. One of the things I have observed through my years working with dual language student is, despite the evidence from research about the effectiveness of the dual language program, it seems like we still are having problems to close the academic gap between among ELL students. And one of the questions that I always ask myself is, why are we having these problems if we're talking about a dual language program that is more efficient or is effective, helping students to learn a new language and helping them to progress academically. But the research shows that school administrators played an important role in the success of the dual language programs. Um, Very well established dual language program will provide opportunities to families to become an active part of the school environment or the school community. Will offer a challenging multicultural curriculum to address the needs of the diverse students in the school, and we also support teachers and make sure the curriculum is followed with fidelity. Dual language program success depends in great extent on how administrators run the program. The way they think about the bilingual education will determine the successful or failure of the dual language program. The idea of having a bilingual program is not a new practice in the United States. Since the mid to the late 19th century, it was very common among immigrants' parents to request that their children to be instructed in their native language. And the purpose of this was they wanted to preserve their native language, the home culture, and ethnicity. But it is by the coming of the World War I that brings sentiments of nationalism and the belief that immigrants had to learn English in order to assimilate to the American culture. And they were saying also that to become successful, the students to be successful, they needed to get into the English as fast as they could, and also they started looking at bilingualism as a threat to the national security, and from there they start propose they start proposing laws that were oriented to the striping the native language and get the students in English only instruction. Despite all the progress we have done, these beliefs some of these beliefs still persist in the population, and in the case of the school principals, those beliefs will influence the importance they give to the maintenance of native language or the learning of a second language. This could bring feelings of inequality and power difference among those that participate or are part of the school culture. Students could start feeling inferior, and it could be a power struggle between administrators and those teachers that work with dual language students. We can see also that the school administrators who understand the importance of student instruction, that dual language instruction, will procure quality instruction programs for those students in order to meet the needs of um, the ELL students. Uh, school administrators who understand the importance of bilingual education will become advocates for the ELL students and will look for resources in order to provide the best education the school could provide to the students. Also, in those schools where principals have philosophies that are contrary to those who are promoting bilingualism, parents could experience some challenges adapting to the school. For example, in some situations, parents don't come to the school because they feel the school doesn't speak the language. They don't appreciate the culture, and the school is not doing basically anything to attract to those parents to the school. Uh, Adding to this, it's very common to find in the school students worrying about their parent legal status and fearing they could be deported. That's one of the cases that happened the last year with most of my students when the actual president won the election. Many of them came to my classroom crying in the morning because they didn't know what was going to happen with their parents. Parents were outside in the cars in the morning crying as well, and this also comes to affect the students in their academic success in the school. That is because of this reason that administrators should procure to create a culture where parents are integrated in the school community, where they feel safe and they feel that they are appreciated and they don't feel their culture, language, and tradition that doesn't don't do not feel threatened. Um, and in my own experience, I have seen many times parents asking in the school if there is somebody that speaks in Spanish so they can speak to somebody in Spanish, and the people working in school telling them like nobody is there to speak with them in Spanish, although we have bilingual teachers that could come and talk to the parents, but talking with somebody in their native language is denied to the parents. This will not contribute to the integration of parents in the school culture. Um, that's why we need committed administrators and teachers who believe in the dual language programs and support the program to ensure the fidelity of the program, ensure that language consistency across subjects, ensure that the curriculum is delivered as it should, and ensure that the success of the students are being monitored academically and linguistically as well. I believe that if we are going to promote bilingualism, we need to monitor the linguistic progress of the students in English and in Spanish as well. Having committed administrators and teachers and parents who believe in the program will ensure the success of the program. According to Collier and Thomas, dual language programs are very effective in closing the achievement gap, but also the effectiveness of the dual language programs will depend on the implementation of the curriculum and the fidelity to the program. Lack of consistency in the implementation of the bilingual or dual language program could affect the student development of second language and the native language as well. Uh, if we by experience, I can see in some of the classrooms or some with some of the students I get every year in fifth grade that they come to fifth grade with low academic vocabulary in both language. In some cases, students can read very well in one language but have difficulties reading in the other language. So the spelling is okay in one language, but they don't know how to do it in the other language. Uh, these language deficiencies could be affecting the students academically, uh, in both in all the subjects, and sometimes in reading and Spanish language is low, or the vocabulary in Spanish is low, they will affect the reading in Spanish, writing in Spanish. It will affect their academic success in social studies and science. On the other hand, if they are no being monitored or the vocabulary in English is low, they will get affected in math and um, their reading in English. The fidelity of the program is very important, and language play an important role in learning the academic concept. That's why it is very important that we follow the program the school had adopted with fidelity in order to avoid those gaps and those problems that we observe when the students are in fifth grade. Through this research, we want to answer three questions. One of those questions is how school principals' attitude affect the effectiveness of the dual language programs. The second question we have for this research is how school principals' attitude toward bilingual programs could affect parent involvement in school climate, and how the consistency and fidelity of the program is affected by the principal's beliefs and attitudes. The participants for this research are the fifth grade bilingual students from Dallas ISD schools, although I think that to make the research a little bit more extensive or complete, another schools should be included in this research. Since I believe that we should be comparing programs with programs, and all schools who have a successful dual language programs with those schools that are struggling with the dual language programs, and the beliefs of the particular school administrator in those schools and how those attitudes they have toward the dual language program could be affecting the effectiveness in of the dual language programs in their schools. The recollection for these studies was mainly we can observe that many of these students were collected or were conducted basically by doing some visits and observations to the schools. They focus on the aspects of leaderships and in-depth, and they also preparing in-depth and semi-structured structured interviews with principals, parents, and teachers. I believe also that in order to make sure, in order to explore the success of the dual language programs in those particular school, I should also look into the um, results of the STAR, or the state assessment into for the dual language students participating in the program from third grade to fifth grade, This will help me to see how effective those students are in the dual language program, and how we can compare them across schools and see how the success of the program could be determined by the principal's attitudes or philosophies toward the bilingual education program or toward bilingualism. Um, to collect the information for this research, I would chose peer review literature from EBSCO and from the ERIC database. The research was basically conducted in the United States and published within the last 15 years. All the research was focused on bilingual education and principles, attitudes toward bilingualism or dual language program. From the research, we can find out that ideological belief plays an important role on the implementation of English-only policies throughout the United States schools. The school administrators and school principals are the ones in charge of enact policies and they are the curriculum coordinators. They are the ones in charge of the school programs, and depending on their beliefs, they will push for those programs. We also find out that the fidelity in the implementation of the dual language programs for students learning a second language is in extends degree the responsibility of school administrators. Of course, there are other people that is responsible for the student success, but is the principal's role in ensuring the fidelity and the implementation of the program. School principals need to become supportive of the goals and the design of the dual language programs, but also monitor what teachers are doing in the classroom by consistently observing the classrooms. Principals could find out what are the needs of the teachers in the classroom. What do they need regarding professional development? What do they need regarding to materials, curriculum support in the classroom? Sadly, the research indicates that the principals are not doing what, or no, they are not aware what the teachers are doing in the classroom, and many times they are not aware of the resources that those teachers need. And the by my own experience and by what the research is showing, many of these school principals need more preparation on effective program instructional practice. Patron and Waxman 2016 indicates that principals are in reality lack of knowledge about what teachers need, what they're doing in the classroom, and they need more preparation and effective program and instruction practices. Also, Mencken and Solorza tell us that school principals are crucial to the survival and success of the bilingual programs. Um, are the school principals are the one that will make sure the dual language program is being successful. They also should have a depth knowledge about theories and practices and education, a strong commitment to promote diversity, awareness, and To promote a school culture toward diversity in the school, principal is not doing this, the dual language programs are not going to be successful, and then they will start basically blaming the bilingualism mm, uh, for the lack of success of the students in those programs, and will be pushing for um, in the implementation of policies that will push to the students to be transferred to the general classroom, or will push for the implementation of English only policies. And that's what I have seen in many schools. Many school principals or administrators are trying to get the parents to push more for English only policies, so to place the students in the general ed classroom. And they tell the parents that is the best way, and they start telling that students will progress faster if they go to the general ed class than staying in the dual language classroom. And that's why I believe principals, those principals who believe in that dual language program, are crucial if we want to have a successful dual language program. Another thing that I have learned from this is that principals' attitude can change the morale and culture of the school. Guadarrama, 1993, tell us a story about a school principal in the Ferguson Elementary in Texas. Um, and this principal became it was she was new in the school, and from the beginning she started trying to change the school culture by trying to have a clean school, and to provide a school environment that could welcome the students. But also, what it caught my attention is that this school principal started using Spanish in the morning announcements and to communicate with some students. As consequence of this, the morale of the some teachers and students changed in the school. She told us that students were more willing to use Spanish in the school. Teachers were communicating in Spanish as well. As part, they felt more like empowered to use Spanish. They felt more proud of their culture, and I think that this is very important to feel the students welcome the school as parents as well, and it could help this change the morale of the dual language teacher working with those students. Also, school principals are responsible for creating a culture that is responsive for the diverse students. Uh, Parents and teacher School principals, parents, and teachers should advocate for the legitimacy of the language differences, and look in ways that we could empower those students coming from diverse backgrounds in the school. Is if the students feel welcome, if they feel their culture respected, they will be more willing to come to the school and participate in everything the school planned for them, and they will be more successful not only linguistically but academically as well. We can say that it is the school administrator's role to make sure the program is followed with fidelity. Although teachers and other school staff is involved in the success of the program, is the school administrator the one that have to make sure teachers are doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom and providing the support those teachers need when they are struggling and following the guidelines of the dual language program. School administrators should also have preparation about bilingual education and best practices. One of the things I believe is we have many school administrators who does not understand the dual language programming, and they don't understand about how second first and second language is developed, and they need more preparation about that. Many principals that or who do not understand the philosophies of dual language program, who does not know anything about methodologies of the dual language program, many times leave the dual language program in charge of teachers, and when this happens, so the success of the dual language program is at risk. Also, I believe if we prepare more school administrators and school principals about the philosophies or about the theories of bilingual education and the benefits, the attitude could shift um, toward the dual language programs. If they understand the benefits of bilingualism, they will be more willing to ensure the program is followed with fidelity, and they will be more supportive of teachers, students, and parents that are part of the school community or who are part of the school community. In this study, I found some limitations in the fact that there are few studies addressing how school principals and administrators' attitude could influence the effectiveness of the dual language program. I couldn't find a lot of the studies addressing this, and many of them were case studies. I couldn't find any study where comparing um, one school with another school and how this school performing and how the philosophies or the attitudes of those principals were influencing the success of the dual language program. With respect to the study, I believe that the fact that I am getting the instruction at distance is also something that played for my disadvantage. I believe that if I could have been in the classroom and I could have gotten the instruction from first hand, and this could have been more effective. And the discussion in the classroom with other students and with the instructor would have I could have given me more benefits about how to develop the study and how the structures, and probably um, I could have more advice of how to improve it and make it better. As a conclusion, we can say that administrators are key factors in promoting dual language program. Uh, they are one of the most important factors in the school, ensuring the success for the dual language program and ensuring the dual language program is followed with fidelity. We can also conclude that an inclusive school culture is also responsibility of the school administrators. I understand that everybody in the participating in the school should participate and make sure we have a culture that is responsive toward diversity, but the school administrator, as the person who leads the school community, is the responsible for promoting a culture where everybody feels welcome and everybody appreciate the differences, appreciate and respect difference among cultures and beliefs. We can also conclude that the school principal's attitude toward bilingual education is an important factor to promote the success of the bilingual programs. Depending on how the school administrator thinks about bilingualism, that will determine the success of the dual language program. If the principal believes in the dual language instruction, he will be committed to the success of the program. He will look for resources. He will hire the highly qualified teachers and train those teachers to work with those students, and he will ensure that the program is followed as is mandated. Course, if the of course, if the school administrators don't believe in the dual language program, he won't care about the success of the program, and he will let it fail in order to have those students transferred to the general ed classroom. Or many times they just will have the dual language program because it's the law, and the law mandates, and he has to comply with the law, but he won't care about the success of the program. Finally, I can say that the lack of research about leadership within the bilingual and multicultural schools make it necessary to study how the attitudes and beliefs of school principals could affect bilingual programs in the school. I think we need to make more, I can say, more in-depth research and about these issues with the bilingual and multicultural school. Compare how successful schools with a dual language program um, compares with those ones that are not being successful, and how the attitudes and the beliefs of the school principals are affecting these programs.